Thank you so much. Thank you for the honor of being among this incredible group of people who have had an incredible vision and carried it to fruition. I was asked to say a few words before I share with you a poem, and those words are going to be about my own experience as a former cancer patient. 2012 was a wonderful year for me. I had just been named San Antonio's first city poet laureate. Mayor Julian Castro had investitured me at the city council chambers in front of a standing room only crowd. My fellow poets had celebrated me with rose petals and verses. And while my late husband was in the early stages of Parkinson's then, and my mother at age 94 was deteriorating in health and physical capacities, both had been able to attend the event and participate emotionally. Our little family was complete. Our 20-year-old son, our 7-year-old daughter, my 94-year-old mom who lived with us. Life was abundant and joyous. But as so often happens with the blessings of life, they were sprinkled with some frightening surprises. Foremost among them, that at less than 2 months into my very busy laureateship schedule, I discovered a spherical growth 1 inch in diameter in the middle of my right breast. When a biopsy revealed it to be malignant and fast-growing, a whole new chapter of research and treatments began. In the following 15 months, I would undertake much reading and exploration, a new anti-inflammatory diet, an experimental formula, spiritual and attitude cleansing, herbal medicine, sweat lodge, Reiki with a curandero, chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, and a commitment to keep my mind, my spirit, and my words powerful and healthy. I insisted on being an active part of the treatment team and to never allow myself to feel a victim or helpless. This, too, was part of the medicine. Today, more than 11 years past my last treatment, I call myself a cancer veteran. Been there, done that, and hopefully will not get called into service again. I learned much on that journey. I learned that every one of those treatments was helpful, healthy, and empowering. But I learned most that the community of people around me was one of my biggest tools in helping me fight and win this battle, because they lent me strength when I was weak, held me up when I couldn't stand on my own. Maria Antonieta Berriozábal, former city council person for San Antonio, drove me to chemo, sat with me for the hours-long treatment, and drove me home, insisting I lay down for a nap before she leave. My friend Olga Kaufman parked herself in the hospital room for the 3 days I was in the hospital for surgery and looked under the bandages for me when I was too scared to see what it looked like. Does it look like IH-10? I asked her. When she lifted the bandages on the 3rd day, what's it look like? A little like IH-10, she answered casually. My spiritual son, David, left his job in Mexico City, flew to San Antonio, and handled all his meetings digitally for a month while he drove my husband, by then more seriously impaired by Parkinson's and unbeknownst to us only 4 years from his own death, to and from the hospital, drove my 2nd grader to school, took her to her talent show, cheered for her, bought groceries, cooked meals, washed dishes, chatted with my elderly mom to keep her from being lonely. And at the end of the month, after I was safely at home, he admitted, "It's kind of hard being Carmen." My surgeon trusted me, offered options, gave me choices, and didn't hide research results from me that a different surgeon might not have wanted me to see, while I tried alternative options. My comadres organized a meal train for my family so I wouldn't have to worry about how my elderly mom, my ailing husband, and my 2nd grader were going to eat. My English and Spanish skills also helped me find more positive ways to rephrase things when doctors used expressions that I felt were negative. My curandera from Zarzamora Street came and reminded me of the power of thought, action, love, friendship, to create a healing environment. It's not just medicine, diet, and exercise that affect a person's health, but also environment, physical, and emotional. Indigenous healers came bringing bundles of herbs, reminding me that today's most powerful chemotherapeutic medicines are made from natural herbs, like the yew tree used in cancer treatment for thousands of years on this continent, and moyote, the Mexican honeysuckle plant, extracts from which are documented now in the Sage Journal of Medicine to decrease the viability of hepatocellular carcinoma cells. In fact, roughly half of the conventional chemotherapy agents are derived from plants. When UT Health asked me to write a poem for the dedication of this very special hospital, I thought first about the beautiful community of doctors, researchers, fellow patients, and healthcare workers that would create this healing environment. I thought about the power of hope, of sunlight after a storm, of green and growing solutions, blossoming with new possibilities and new discoveries. I thought about the many storms of life that each of us will have to face in our own lives in our own way. And I thought of all those, living or dead, who have helped to make this moment, this dedication of a beautiful ambiente de esperanza possible. Those who with their words or their faith or their sweat or their donations or their commitment to their calling, their dedication of their life's work have warmed our storm worries with golden rays of hope. I thought of you. The poem that I created is called A Blanket of Hope, and it mentions the bundle of moyote herbs, and it mentions typical elements of our San Antonio environment, because it had to have a sense of place. Because as this is we are doing the healing, we need to be aware of the entire environment. So I worked in yellow esperanza flowers and red chilepetin and firebush, as well as a few words in Spanish, because you can't do anything in Spanish in San Antonio effectively unless you have Spanish and English, and you can't do it. As well as the golden sunlight of this blanket of hope, which you, as a medical hospital and its entire community, will offer to generations to come. And I want to end by thanking Dr. Bill Henrich. In Mexican culture, we have a word we say after the name of a great person who has passed. If that person has left their spirit and their loving actions with us, then when we say the name, we say presente afterwards, which is kind of like present after roll call or still here with us. So I'd like to provide my thanks to all of you, but also to Dr. Henrich Presente, and to his family for their support, and to everyone else that is here, either in body or in spirit. A blanket of hope. Life has its way. Storms rumble in the distance, rumble in our dreams, rumble sometimes right down our streets. A few terrorizing times flood all the way to our doorsteps or inside, respecting no boundaries. Sometimes we see the lightning strike someone else, a stranger, but now linked like familia. Because of this storm moment we have shared, we take the lightning in our very hands, unclench its grip on someone's flesh, and wrap their spirit in a blanket of hope. We raise our eyes to the skies and search for socorro, for help, and it appears, rising from some distant ocean like a wave of warmth, of strength, of memories and love. Like the purifying patter of a soft rain, invoking purple blossoms to burst finally from the thirsty gray silver of sage. A hand is offered, glowing with cariño, a path is committed. A song of survival is hummed like a lullaby, a vision of butterflies landing lightly. The voice of an ancestor gifting a bundle of hierbabuena y moyote, or in its more ancient name, ichcan. Todo se pasa, my father whispers from 40 years ago. No hay problema que dure, siempre viene una respuesta. Every problem has an answer. Soon a garden will be blooming from this pile of tired dirt and ragged, overturned stones, well watered with dreams, well seeded with hope. After the digging, sweating, searching, trying step and half again, we may awake to see the yellow brilliance of Esperanza blooms, the stubborn ruby sparks of chile petin on a deep green shrub, the firebush and hibiscus flowers, fruit of our commitment, the tall tree with roots and branches holding earth and sky together, a bond forged of boundless possibilities. The surge of spirit, our animo in action, the work of healing renews our stubborn, steadfast song that holds us up and folds us in to the tight abrazo of a turquoise sky infused with golden sunlight. Thank you.